Hi, I'm Ron James with the Center for Ethical Business Cultures, and we'd like to welcome you to yet another in a series of ethical insights. The Center for Ethical Business Cultures serves at the intersection of thought and practice when it comes to business ethics, and we like to explore themes that are topical for the day. We'd like to welcome today Rico Farise. Rico is the Senior Strategic Risk Manager for the LEGO Group in Denmark. He was here in town to speak at a forum with business leaders as well as students and faculty to explore the notion of ethics and risk and sustainability and how they come alive in the workplace. Rico, welcome.
Thank you.
Today we'd like to explore about 4 themes. We'll ask Rico if you wouldn't take a few minutes and share a little bit about LEGO and exactly what is LEGO for the few people who may not have experienced it at this point. But then we'd like to examine the culture of LEGO and have you share with us what makes the culture unique. Thirdly, we want to talk about risk management and how you think about that inside the organization. And then lastly, how do you tie risk and sustainability as well as ethics together? But let's back up and start with LEGO. Tell us a little bit about the company, please.
LEGO is a quite old company, 80 years actually, an old lady. And we have been in a toy manufacturing business for the last 80 years actually, because we are older than 100 years at the moment. We started out in a small town in Denmark called Billund as a carpenter. And back then it was Kirk Christiansen who owned us, and it is still the same family actually own us, and it's the grandson who is part of the board of directors and take an active role in directing the company. Our mission is to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. It's a mission that in a lot of ways actually give you much more pleasure and a lot of smiles around the world. For those of you who don't know what the toy LEGO is, it's a brick. You can build it yourself, or you can follow the instruction in the box. But it's not just a box of toy. It's much more. It's a tool of learning new things, to have fun, to be creative. And I think that without actually just saying that I'm from the company, I would say that it gives a lot back to our consumers, especially girls and boys all around the world. We are in, at the moment, over 130 countries, selling through own subsidiaries, but also we have a lot of distributors around the world. We are also focusing on LEGO education, and LEGO education is actually where we have where we study how can we use the brick to much more than just to be a toy, but actually to be a learning tool.
Surely.
So that's partly who we are. Do we see new trends? Yes, of course. There is the virtual world or the digitalization. We still believe that there is a market for a physical product, and we also see that the parents actually, when they have tried it in their childhood, they give it also to their children.
So it's also about connecting in this day and age of technology, the physical world with the virtual world.
Exactly.
All right. So tell us a little bit about the culture of LEGO, please.
The culture in LEGO is mainly defined in our, I won't say defined, it's much more visualized in a big brick, which we call it the brand framework, LEGO brand framework. It consists of our mission, our vision, our four promises, and the spirit and our values. Starting out with our values, which is actually imagination, creativity, fun, learning, caring, and quality. That is something that underpin everything that we are doing at LEGO. For me, that was the crucial reason why I actually started working with LEGO. I worked with LEGO for 9 years. My colleague, who is also here, she has been with LEGO for 29 years. Normally, it's actually stated in LEGO that if you have been there for more than 4 years, it is a big probability that you're going to be retired from Lego. We have a lot of, you can say, people who are experiencing 40 years of employment just at Lego. And we're only 80 years old, so it's actually, it's a fantastic way of showing our culture. Our spirit is actually defined in only the best is good enough. That is in our deliverables, but it's also in the way that we interact with companies, with our partners, with our consumers, the way that we design our play, the way that we develop our employees. But we have, and that's why we have defined those 4 promises. Our play promise, our partner promise, our people promise, and at last, but not at least, our planet promise. Our planet promise is linked to the sustainability issues, but also that we want to be to give a positive impact on all the issues that can be addressed by a company. Our vision is a link to the mission that I mentioned before, inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. And our vision is to invent the future of play. We believe that the brick is, of course, our story, our history, but it's also our present, and it will be our future. We believe that. And then we link it to the digitalization and globalization and all that. But fact is that it's going to be brick-driven.
So let's talk a little bit about risk management and how you think about it and how it links to ethics and sustainability in the organization.
You could say that, in looking back in the history of Lego, we had some troubling years from '93 until 2004 and 2005. We were pretty close of having a financial crisis internally. And some of the board of directors asked themselves, what is it that others do that we don't do? And we saw a lot of risks, a lot of risks taken that we shouldn't have taken, a lot of opportunities that we should not have, you could say, implemented. And my boss back then, Hans Læsø, was asked, Hans, do you know anything around this risk management? And he said, no, but I can Google it. And he Googled it. And then he developed a tool. It was a Excel spreadsheet, pretty big one. He's an Excel, really Excel expert or super user. So he used it and his knowledge, and he started to link it to the strategy execution, meaning the strategy that we implemented at that time or in that year, looking at the risks that was in that strategy. But we also knew that we needed something more. He hired me in 2009, and we started out developing. We had a lot of brainstorms. How can we do something extra on this enterprise risk management? We found out that we were calling ourselves Strategic Risk Management Office, but primarily we did reports, checkbox, balance scorecards, and so on. And we found out that if we should have an impact on the business, we should involve in the projects, because that's where the big risks are, but it's also where the opportunities are. So we developed a tool in the strategy implementation, linkage to the strategy execution. What is the risks and opportunities that you have in those projects? But what we also did was that we looked at the whole business value chain, not just in the project, but we looked at the whole business value chain. What can be affected by this risk? Project. And we found out that it gives a lot of value. Then we were asked if this tool could be used in other ways, and we said yes. We were part of some strategic development sessions and so on, and we found out that if we link uncertainty to strategy development, we could actually have a big impact on the strategy development processes that we have at Lego. So last year we implemented it's a straightforward 2x2 matrix. It's it's a session where you have a one page actually. That's what you are reading beforehand. And then we have between 4 hours and 8 hours with the business area management team. We have 22 of those teams, and we have been around the world having those sessions, actually contemplating the risks and the opportunities, but also the things that they are concerned about in the strategies. And then we have linked the strategy execution, strategy implementation, but also the strategy development. So we are part of, from developing strategies into execution, into implementation. So fact is that we are maybe the only strategic risk management team for now that is implementing a full-scale strategic risk management tool, and we have processes in all 3 big areas. And a lot of times I'm asked, how many people are you? And we are only 3 at the moment. So it's a 3-man army.
Well, and there you have it. It seems like you were able to think not only about the outputs of risk management, measurement, and reports, but to start to back up into the process, to look at how it's actually being implemented in the business units, and then to see how it's being built into the strategies as strategies are being developed, and then to create value for the management team to help them assess the risk and the opportunities. Amazing story. Rico, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
We'd like to thank you for being with us as well. It's this notion of how do you bring together risk and enterprise risk management, obviously, but also sustainability and business ethics. They don't operate in silos. They're actually integrated. They've got to be built into the culture, surrounded by the mission, the vision, and the values of the organization. Thanks, and have a super day.